What is going on, everybody? AHS Rules back again with another video, and we're here for another edition in our Wrestling Fantasy Booking series. It's very weird because I've not kept track of what number they are. I don't think that really matters in the grand scheme of things. But this time around, we will be talking about AEW Double or Nothing 2024. Dynasty just took place this past weekend and was a great event. And now we move on to the next one in Double or Nothing. And in this video, I'm going to provide some suggestions of what I would personally like to see take place at the event. On this, I have 13 matches, 3 for the pre-show, 10 for the main card. As always, this is of note, and I'll be sure to highlight this with one match in particular, but only using people that are on the AEW roster page and people that are out with injury, not going to suggest they compete because don't know when the hell they're going to come back. So, starting off with the pre-show, a rivalry that has been building up. Orange Cassidy versus Trent Beretta. I'm used to just calling him Trent, but match is going to take place. The best friends are imploding, and we'll see what happens with this throughout the weeks. But I anticipate a one-on-one matchup taking place at some point. Next, for the Unified Trios titles, I guess that is what they're going to call them now, but Bullet Club Gold versus LFI, La Facción Ingobernables. Now, the Trios division has had a questionable, run. It's had its good, and it's definitely had its bad. So let's bring it back to the good. I would also recommend another Trios tournament to take place, but, do it whenever, however, and make it good. But going back to LFI, they've been on and off TV for the past year, and it's never really explained why. And anytime that they're used very good. So let's get them in some Trios action and be the first rivalry for Bullet Club Gold as the Unified Trios champions. And also, speaking of injury, don't know where the hell Juice Robinson's at. It's been weird because he's been out since November. I don't know what his injury was, but I would recommend slotting him into the trio and then getting Jay White to singles action once that is able to take place. But that could happen at any time. Last match for the 0 hour pre-show buy-in, whatever they want to call it. A traditional casino battle royale. The ones where 5 people come out every time. You get 21 entrants, the last one being the Joker. Last year they did a regular battle royale. I think they called it a casino battle royale, but a traditional one. And I would recommend, and again, we'll get onto this when we get to the later in the main card, that the winner faces the international champion. Again, I'll get to it later. So I have 3 suggestions for the winner, but more of the story, a traditional casino battle royale. It's the one time you're in Vegas a year, you should. I know it sometimes gets confusing, but when it's done right, it's not that confusing. So there is that. Now to the main card. Match 1 to suggest. Eddie Kingston versus Samoa Joe. Earlier this year, I made a list. I made 2 that I'll come to talk about, but I made a list of matches I wanted to see in AEW and WWE in 2024. I had 8 in total, and so far, 0 have taken place. Granted, one of them I did say was AJ Styles versus Cody Rhodes, and guess what? WWE listened. WWE is doing that as the main event of Backlash. Hooray. Great matchup, hopefully. In AEW, and the one that I put in the thumbnail of the video, was Eddie Kingston and Samoa Joe. I would love to see that matchup. I know it's taken place before, but this would probably be the biggest stage that it could take place on. And I think the timing right now is very good because both are coming off championship losses. Eddie Kingston lost the Continental Championship, the Ring of Honor World Championship, and you know what? More than likely going to lose the New Japan Strong Championship. Samoa Joe just lost the AEW World Championship, so both of them are kind of in that lingering era where they don't have anything to do, and I suggest a match against one another. Next, another singles match. This one, I don't really know a story for it, but I saw both of them on the roster page. I'm like, I don't think they've ever done this match, and it would be a crazy match. But the Bastard Pac versus Jungle Jack Perry. I refuse to stop calling him Jungle Jack Perry. Jack Perry the scapegoat. There, I said it. But I think this would be a crazy match. Now, I'm going to apologize because it's going to be long-winded. My Dynasty predictions video went on a bit of a rant. talking about the tag team title match and the tag team division at whole. And essentially, it was just like, I was so disappointed in the tag team title tournament because I was like, I wanted to see new teams get opportunities. And then you look at the finals, it's two teams that have constantly been the tag champions and have had this rivalry and et cetera, et cetera. And then I went further and talking about, I already see the Young Bucks winning. I see the Motor City Machine Guns coming out and challenging the Young Bucks. And I'm going to add on a little bit. So, I still believe Machine Guns are coming to AEW. You know, that's going to happen. Is it going to happen on tonight's Dynamite? We will see. You know, love the Motor City Machine Guns. Not complaining about them being there. But it's going to absolutely bother the hell out of me because they're my favorite tag team right now. And then they just go and lose to the Young Bucks. Then I was thinking furthermore because the Young Bucks and the Motor City Machine Guns have had a number of matches in their career, mainly in TNA. And almost all of them, the Motor City Machine Guns won. Now, Young Bucks' first match in TNA, Young Bucks won against Machine Guns. Destination X 2010, Machine Guns won. No Surrender 2010, the Motor City Machine Guns won. They were replacements of Desmond Wolfe, a.k.a. Nigel McGuinness, and Magnus, a.k.a. Nick Aldis. Bound for Glory, Motor City Machine Guns won. And then Turning Point, Full Metal Mayhem, Motor City Machine Guns won. So, more than likely, again, whenever this match happens, I don't see the Machine Guns winning. It's going to bother the absolute hell out of me. So, when it gets to this show, A, right now, Motor City Machine Guns are not on the roster. B, I don't want to see the match because of personal bias. I don't want to see my favorite team lose. And 3, this is where it's, you know, I went on this long explanation for no reason, but I'm suggesting FTR, Young Bucks, one last time. Never do it again after this in a steel cage because this ladder match, Jack Perry interrupted. There, I feel FTR is going to use that and whatnot. We will see this match happen again at some point, but I would suggest it right now. Never do it again. Because again, the tag team scene right now is in a weird era where either teams we've seen face the Young Bucks so many times, or some tag teams are just injured, like Lucha Bros. Don't know where Rey Fenix is at. So it's kind of a weird part in the tag team division AEW, and I think the Motor City Machine Guns could help a lot with that. But as of right now, I would suggest Young Bucks FTR one last time. Never do it again. Steel cage to make it a stipulation, because again, I think they added the ladder match stipulation because they had done the match so many times. You needed something different. And again, AEW always puts on good steel cage matches, and the Young Bucks put on a great one against the Lucha Bros a couple of years ago. So one last time, Young Bucks FTR. Even though I was like, I'm tired of seeing the match. Do it again. If you say it's one last time, I would believe you and applaud it. Next, Continental title match. This is one I've seen suggested on Twitter so many times. And then every time I kept going down the AEW roster page, they're spotted right next to each other. And I'm like, you know what? It makes sense. Continental title, Kazuchika Okada, 7 years in the making, versus Katsuyori Shibata. They had an infamous match in New Japan that ended up being Shibata's for a extremely long time. Shibata is back. Shibata is in AEW. I think they should run this back. Hopefully, I would not do what they did in the New Japan match, but it's a bit of redemption, and there is a story there between these two. And again, this might be me overthinking, but it's just like, I don't really know what I want Okada in the Will Ospreay spot where you put him in singles matches and they deliver every time. But if you were to like suggest me like Okada versus so-and-so, I'd probably look at it like this, where if you said Okada versus Shibata, I would be more interested in it, because like I said, there's a story there. Where some of the other competitors in AEW, the story's not there yet. At some point it will be, but it's not there yet. Again, I think that's just me overthinking it. Next, international title match. I mentioned it earlier. Have a Casino Battle Royale on the pre-show. Have the winner face Roderick Strong. Now, I've said this several times. I'm like, I think Roderick Strong should have a great international title reign because I've seen what he did with the TV title in Ring of Honor. And it's kind of been the opposite of that because he was constantly defending the TV title in Ring of Honor. Where now, in AEW, he's making people earn it. And again, you got to go through 20 other people in this Casino Battle Royale to earn this international title match. Granted, he did have a great match with Kyle O'Reilly, so I'll give credit there. So, my 3 suggestions of a winner. A surprise entrant. You know, anytime they do the Casino Battle Royale, there's always some surprise entrant or return entrant, but I'm not going to suggest any because I don't know who's eligible to come back and who's not. B, Ricky Starks, who I don't know what the hell's up with him right now. The last we saw him, he got injured, and I would just love to see him get an opportunity. And again, it's very much what I said with Okada and Shibata. Him and Roderick Strong are right next to each other on the roster page. I'm like, I would be into that match. C, fan favorite, always puts on a great match, Daniel Garcia, and he wants some championship gold, and give him an opportunity, a bit of redemption against Roderick Strong, because they had a match last year, but I feel it was somewhat forgettable. Run it back with higher stakes now. Now, these next two matchups are kind of already determined when we already see happening. For the TNT Championship, Adam Copeland versus Malachi Black. Malachi Black's been targeting Adam Copeland the past couple weeks. He got the pin at Dynasty. I will say, make or break match for Malachi Black. A lot of people, I will always be a fan. I ain't really got no complaints about him, but I've been seeing a lot of fans complaining about the House of Black in general, but mainly him. And if he put on a great matchup, I feel that criticism and disdain would go away. So, make or break match in a little bit. And then, for the TBS side, the match is already announced. Mercedes Moné challenging Willow Nightingale. I guess the big question here is, will this be Mercedes Moné's first match in AEW? Because we still got a month time period, and people are clamoring for her to stop cutting promos and have a match. Who the hell is the mystery attacker? We got a couple of questions there that I'm not going to answer. So, there's that. Now, for the Women's Championship, Toni Storm versus Chris Statlander. Chris Statlander's great friend, Willow Nightingale, just won the TBS title, and it's very weird because Statlander was TBS champion, and I don't think she ever went back to have a rematch. But you know what? Move on to the bigger picture, the bigger title in the Women's Championship. It's been a long time since she's challenged for that championship, and your friend Willow is the champion. I doubt you want to go after it again, and we already know that there's a damn TBS title match. So, it's kind of an opportunity that both friends are champions at once, and Toni Storm, Chris Statlander, I feel would be a good match. That has not taken place yet. Now, AEW World Title match. Saw it suggested on Twitter. I liked it, but I also thought of it at the same time, so it's a little bit of mind tricks. Swerve Strickland versus Christian Cage. Again, it's just what I said. Christian just is coming off of a TNT title reign that was very great, but now it's time to move on to the bigger picture and the AEW World Championship. And what's funny about this is this match was kind of teased a couple of months ago, and if I remember the situation exactly, it was Swerve Strickland, Bryan Danielson, #1 contenders match, and then Christian had a promo, and he was talking about both of those guys, and he singled out Swerve. He's like, "You cost us the match at All In." Now, will that be big enough for them to have a rivalry off of that? No, but they have enough. They have been two of the top stars in AEW the past year and put on the best matches and mainly moments, and I feel that they could carry themselves enough for the rivalry. I don't have to suggest anything for it, but Swerve Strickland in his first rivalry as a champion against Christian Cage. Now, I will say, I've seen a lot of people suggesting Swerve versus Hangman. I'm not in. It's just very much what I'm saying about FTR and the Young Bucks. But the main difference here is Hangman has yet to beat Swerve. And so now, Hangman challenges Swerve. Let's throw this hypothetical out. Hangman loses. That's 3 times he's lost to him. They've had 4 matches already, and the one was a draw. And it would be a little bit different if the second match they had, Hangman won, but it was still like Swerve's breakout. And I wonder if they think about that. Probably not, because Swerve's a big star and the champion, so they probably don't care and think that much about it. But it's just like, I don't want to see this match. I know it's going to happen at some point, but, I want some space in Adam. That's why I didn't suggest that. Now we get to the main event, and we have a lot of stars missing, but obviously they would be in this matchup that has taken place at the last 2 Double or Nothing events, and we're having it take place here. Anarchy in the arena, Blackpool Combat Club versus the Don Callis family. Will Ospreay, Bryan Danielson put on a fantastic, you could throw out whatever hyperboles and descriptions for this match that you want to, but I described it as fantastic matchup, where it kind of left off on a, I'm not going to say an interesting note, a cliffhanger a bit, where Danielson was hurt and Ospreay was worried about it. We also already know that this rivalry as the factions is continuing a little bit, because we got Powerhouse Hobbs versus John Moxley that everyone's pissed about because it's for the IWGP Championship. But, you know, I'm not going to be that pissed because I don't see Moxley losing that. But again, I already see the rivalry continuing between the two sides. We've done Anarchy in the Arena a couple times at Double or Nothing. People want to see the Danielson Ospreay thing continue, and it can continue through this. But more importantly, throwing a wild 2 suggestions out there. One's wild, one's not. A, the previous 2 Anarchy in the Arena matches led to a Blood and Guts match, which could lead to these 2 teams, groups, in that down the road. But more importantly, this is the wild suggestion. Losing group breaks up. Now, I love the Blackpool Combat Club. I tolerate the Don Callis family. But I've seen a lot of people suggest, hey, Blackpool Combat Club, you know, they're kind of always on their own. They're never, like, really a group. It's not really even needed, you know. We don't even know where the hell Wheeler Yuta is. The Don Callis family has not... It's kind of the opposite, but it hasn't, like, besides Takeshita, elevated anybody. Like, Kyle Fletcher, again, a lot of times is on his own. By the way, has not won a match in AEW. He's won all of his matches on relationship. He's not won a match in AEW, 0-5. Powerhouse Hobbs, it sucks because he's kind of always in this lingering area where they're pushing him and he's got an idea and then it just changes. And I just feel that's kind of the route we're going here already. And then Will Ospreay is Will Ospreay. He's already on his own. He doesn't need this group. So my suggestion is losing group breaks up, but they probably wouldn't do that, and we're probably going to build up into a Blood and Guts match. So these are my suggestions for Double or Nothing. Should be a great event. We'll see what actually happens when it takes place, but I do thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm going to go drink some Baja Blast now.